All right, welcome and thank you for participating in today's J2C K-8 pilot program webinar. My name is Ashley Hydrader and I am a program coordinator in the Office of Communications and Outreach for the Missouri Department of Higher Education and Workforce Development, and I will also be your host for today. I ask that everyone please make sure that you are muted and please do not unmute yourself as this webinar is being recorded. We would like to know who is participating in this webinar, so please type your name and where you work in the chat box. Also, let us know how many people are watching this with you. You can ask all questions through the chat function at any time during the webinar, and we will pause periodically to answer questions. In today's webinar, I will go over the overview of the J2C K-8 program, its resource manual content along with activity descriptions, free publications and promotional materials that you can order for the activities, what is asked of you as a participant, and my contact information for any questions that you may have outside of this webinar. It's never too early to start thinking about future careers, and this expansion program will help encourage a college-going culture at an earlier age with fun activities and resources for elementary and middle school students. I'm very excited to share that there are 22 participants helping to launch J2C K-8 this spring semester. When viewing the resource manual, you will see descriptions of activities and their suggested resources listed per elementary and upper elementary schools, and then by middle school. Please note that these activities are our ideas per extensive research, but you work directly with students every day, so feel free to overlap any activity to any grade that you think is fitting and appropriate. The list of publications and promotional materials displays a picture and a brief description of each item. And lastly, you will find at the end of the resource manual the index of all printable resources. The resource manual and all printables can also be found on our department website, which the URL will be displayed at the end of the webinar. We have compiled a list of 8 suggested activities in a sample college and career week for elementary and upper elementary schools. And we will actually go through each one of these now. So I do have one question for you. Who does not love a mascot? Mascots are positive influences and full of high energy. So why not utilize them to create an exciting atmosphere for your career and college going activities? We've even created a Missouri College mascot contact list for you to be able to reference when wanting to request a mascot to come visit your school. The Career Day activity is a great way for students to interact with different local professionals and really get a sense of what their jobs entail on a daily basis and what education is required of that occupation. The Career Day tip sheet guides you through the basics of requesting guest speakers, deciding which format you would like to use, rotating through classrooms or an assembly, and even has some sample questions that you or your students can ask the guest speakers. Dress for Success days are always a fun way to create classroom discussions and explore what students want to be when they grow up. We've added photo booth props that students can take pictures with and a short 60-second video to get them excited about how to even prepare for a job interview. When I Grow Up activity is such a fun way to get creative with your students. They can watch the short 1 minute video to kick off the activity, then draw a picture of themselves as their desired future profession. Following up with a classroom discussion will allow students to show off their awesome self portraits and to show them who had chosen similar and different types of professions. A great way to end this activity is to hand out the careers coloring book to continue the fun career exploration. Students can choose a profession of their interest to write about. You can also create a fishbowl of different careers to have students draw from a second round, or how do you become a. Whether the student is interested in that profession or not, it makes them think about different professions on a broader spectrum and how they might compare with required education or location availability. Students can share and discuss their how do you become a ideas using the classroom dry erase board to visually see profession similarities and differences. The short 30-second resume tips and tricks video will help kick off the My First Resume activity by introducing some resume basics they should think about when putting together their first resume. I personally think the best thing about the ABC Career Challenge is the fact that the students can play it many different ways. Students can play individually, in teams, timed, and speed rounds. Use the classroom dry erase board to write down and discuss all careers the students have come up with. It could prove to be very interesting when they see how many similar and different answers they actually come up with. MoScores stands for Missouri School Credentials or Occupations Resulting in Employment Success, and is a college scorecard tool that provides information on academic program outcomes and costs. Missouri Connections is a web-based resource to help Missouri citizens determine their career interests, explore occupations, establish education plans, develop job search strategies, and create resumes. Both are very similar resources and are great tools when wanting to do extensive career research. The poster is a fun way for younger students to show their classmates their professional interests. This sample provides you with an idea of how to incorporate the activities into a college and career week if you do not already do one. The activities with grad caps next to them are considered as filler activities that are not listed or described in the set lists of activities in the resource manual. You can have a guest speaker rotate through classrooms and read the Dr. Seuss book, Oh, the Places You'll Go, or another book that you think fits the J2C K-8 program. Hats Off to Higher Education encourages students and teachers to wear hats to school as a fun spirit day. Teachers can also wear shirts representing their college alma mater. Your Career Starts Here is a great way for students and teachers to show school pride and for students to recognize that their future career and college-going journeys start now, right where they're at. So now we will move on to the next set of activities. We have 5 activities and a college and career week sample for middle school students. The Bean Game is such a fun and eye-opening game for students to play. It is comparable to the Game of Life or reality game. Using the Bean Game printable and instructions, you can print off enough copies for students to play individually or in small groups. You also have the option to buy a bag of beans for students to use as counters, or you can even use counting chips already in the classroom. The game designates a set amount of beans to use, and students have to go through different categories to decide what's more important to them. For example, students think about their housing options. Each option requires a certain number of beans. A, living rent-free with relatives equals no beans. B, living in public housing equals 1 bean. C, sharing an apartment or house equals 2 beans. D, renting your own place equals 3 beans. E, buying a home equals 5 beans, which should probably take up all the beans. Once everyone has completed the game, you'll go through everyone's answers as a classroom. There are questions included in the instructions and even 2 short budgeting videos you can use for discussion as well. So, as you know, I just talked about how Scores and Missouri Connections are very helpful resources for extensive career research. And that same information applies when students are putting together their career research PowerPoint presentations. You can give students a time limit to present, or you can even have them choose more than one career of interest if they have more than one. My first resume is similar, but also a little different for middle school students from what we just discussed for the elementary and upper elementary students. We encourage students to start focusing on high school resume expectations, which includes considering job shadowing local professionals. Having the students watch the 2 short interview videos to kick off the A Day in the Life activity is a great way for them to get a sense of what their expectations are for actually doing the activity. Students can interview family members, or you can even challenge the students to step out of their comfort zones to interview a local professional. Have a classroom discussion or do one-on-one speed rounds where students engage with each other in a conversation on a closer level. You can also ask students what answers surprised them the most. This 1 hour documentary was actually created in 2015, which is crazy to think that that was already 5 years ago. However, it is still very relevant because it shows real and raw feelings and emotions of 4 first generation students and the leaders they interview along their road trip across the country. It truly is a wonderful documentary that I highly recommend showing to students, as they can definitely make connections and relate to it. The Why Not Us film is found in the link above in the slide. This sample provides you with an idea of how to incorporate the activities into a college and career week for middle school students if you do not already do one. And the activities with grad caps next to them are the same filler activities that were covered during the elementary and upper elementary school college and career week sample. Now we will talk about some of our publications and promotional materials. As you can see on the list, we have Color Your Future, careers coloring books, which are targeting kindergarten through 3rd grade. We also have college and career bookmarks, which target kindergarten through 8th grade. Rainbow pens are fun for all ages and can be utilized for kindergarten through 8th grade. It's Never Too Early bookmark, or excuse me, booklet can also be utilized for kindergarten through 8th grade, along with the career photo booth props. The Most Scores information card can also be used kindergarten through 8th grade. And the Most brochure can also be used kindergarten through 8th grade and is a wonderful program and brochure to hand to parents. When ordering publications and promotional materials, please send me an email with the date of your items that are needed by, the items you'd like along with their quantities, and the school name and the address to ship everything to. We can also print out a copy of the resource manual and 1 set of laminated photo booth props upon request. We ask that you please host at least 1 activity between now and May 15th of this year. Order at least 1 publication or promotional item. And we would also like for you to provide feedback through a short 6-question survey after you've completed your activity. The survey will be available by this Friday, February 7th, and can also be found on the department website and will also be mailed to you as well. And last but not least, we would love for you to send us photos of your students participating in J2C K-8 activities. The picture on the left is actually, on the right is actually part of my work team using the photo booth props to share our excitement for the launch of this program. My contact information is provided on this slide. Please do not hesitate to contact me with any questions that you may have. You will be receiving this webinar recording in an email within the next couple days, so be on the lookout for that. All of the J2C K-8 program information for counselors can be directly found on our department website listed on the slide that starts with our DUDE acronym. There are also many career and college-oriented helpful resources for students on our Department Journey to College website, which is also listed on the slide. Thank you for your time today and for your participation in the J2C K-8 pilot program. I look forward to working with you. Have a great day.